the markets are responding to what's happening here in this city, in Washington, D.C., and it's not good. Their reaction is not good. What that means for people's 401ks, just in the last 2 months, people have lost 20% of their 401ks because of the results of these policies, not only that were passed in the spending bill just 2 weeks ago, but this budget that's been presented with its gross level of spending, with its exorbitant level of tax increases. And so if we look here at a chart, this is a breakdown of the president's proposal of tax increases that's in this budget that has $1.7 trillion of new debt, not debt that was carried over from the previous administration. The buck stops here, and this president submitted this budget. He created this new level of spending, and he's choosing to pay for some of it, clearly not all of it, but some of it by one of the largest tax increases in the history of our country. And while he says that less than 5% of the people of this country will pay these taxes, this chart will show you something very different, a stark difference in what we've been hearing. $1.4 trillion has been proposed by this president in his budget in new taxes at a time, of course, that our economy is in a recession. And so if you look at the breakdown...
Just reclaiming my time a second, that should send the alarm bells off in people's minds. When you're having not only just a little recession, but what's starting to turn into almost a depression, and you're talking about huge tax increases, you don't want those two things in the same sentence, I believe. I yield.
And I think when we talk about, now that we're in a recession, will we be going to a depression? Look at what happened in the 1920s and the 1930s as we did go into a depression. And in many cases, it was policies in Washington, D.C. that not only pushed us into the Depression, but kept us there for 8 years. We were in the Depression for 8 years. It took World War II to get us out of it. And if you go back in 1932, the president who raised taxes during an economic downturn that was so severe in the 1930s, Herbert Hoover, raised taxes, of all things, while the country was entering a depression in 1932. Herbert Hoover, on his way out as being voted out as president, he raised taxes dramatically. We're seeing the same process followed again, and then people say those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it.